Hey, so if what you're feeling today is feeling strange, intense, completely outside of the norm, then that's a good sign. That means that you are actually tuning into the portal energy. So, Spirit is just saying, welcome to Good Friday, folks. This is kind of what we've been talking about all week. Remember, we talked about the bumpiness. We talked about all of this energetic light pouring through, this transformational light. Now, I know for so many of us that it wakes up the density. And so part of that is the physical aspect, right? So many people are having aches and pains and viral flares and right? All of that happens because remember, the beings that cohabitate with us do not like this much light. They like the dark, they like the density, they like to feed off of our stress hormones. And so when the light is coming in like this, it's countering all of that. So just remember, there's going to be so many layered aspects to how you support yourself right now, especially for my fellow empaths and sensitives, right, guys? We feel things in such a big way that we need that extra support. We need that, like, we are definitely not a one size fits all type of community, right? Like, we definitely need the big picture to come into every aspect of our healing when we're doing the work. So this is going to be a great opportunity for that. That's going to be a great opportunity for supporting our physical body, getting rid of the bugs, getting rid of the pathogens, strengthening the weaker parts of our systems, right? Bringing in high vibrational fruits, vegetables, herbs, supplements. Remember, I think this is kind of like the easiest thing. If you just remind yourself in the simplicity of it, that every single thing contains a frequency. And so when you're picking and choosing what frequencies are coming in your body that you're engaging with, just, tap into your intuitiveness and be like, okay, how does that frequency feel to me? Does that feel like a warm and fuzzy, or does that feel like that's not good? So do that, because that builds your intuition. It builds your strength. It builds your connection with your higher self, with your soul energy, right? That's what we're doing. That's the purpose of what we're doing with all of this stuff. So here's something I want to share with you guys and let me know in the comments. Last night's dream state was wild, just wild, which of course it will be on these big portal days. And when I woke up and was coming out of the dream state, Spirit gave me the word traversing. Now, there's certain words that I just never use. They're just not in my, in my toolbox of words. And that happens to be one of them, traversing. So when they gave me that word, I had to feel into it a little bit. I had to be like, okay, so what's the guidance around that? And they're telling me to share this with you because, it's not just me. I'm not just the one weirdo that has a spirit team that communicates with them. You guys actually do too. You have an entire set of energies that work with you, through you, around you all of the time. It's a bit of a relationship that you have to work on and develop. It's a bit of a skill, right? That's where that comes in. Every relationship is. So this one's not like any other. It does require some effort, some work. And because of course they've made it my job, my relationship with my spirit team is very, very strong. But this is one of the exercises of how you can strengthen your spirit team connection. And that's just by saying, okay, so highlight the important things for me and just watch how they'll show you these words, like specific words. So as the example, they gave me that traversing. Now, that's a big deal because when we're coming out of the dream state, we're literally going in and out. So there's a lot of that going on. Feel into what that may mean for you. Another thing that they showed me, and this is to be highlighted for the collective, and they'll show me whether it's collective or just for myself, but I am part of the collective, so likely we are all experiencing it. But they showed me the word workaround. Now, this is going to be a big deal because remember, as we increase our frequency. As we're doing all of these, jumping through the hoops to make us better versions of who we are, bettering our aspects. As we do this, we are going to run into obstacles, right? We're going to run into the ruts or the patterns or the limiting beliefs that the older aspects of ourselves have. We're going to. It's the shadow aspect. It never leaves. It's kind of like always there in the background. So we're going to run into these things, and how they explain it is it'll feel like a push and pull energetically. And so, when you're working on something or you're doing something and it feels like you're like taking 2 steps forward, but then it's 10 steps back, just remind yourself that when that's happening, they're just showing that word workaround. This is where it's going to be. And they're just saying right now, it's not going to be able to be the same old, same old. So you know how you've got your like go-to. So when this is happening, you're like, okay, this is what I do. When that comes up in my life, this is my go-to. They're saying that that's not going to work anymore. They're just saying it's not going to cut it. So feel into what a workaround feels like for you. Here's the tricky part of this though. A workaround means that in order to fully embrace the potential of you and your creative energy, your manifestation energy, you need to be in alignment with your higher self and your soul aspect, right? Remember, we've got lots of aspects to the human being. When you are coming from that place or using that lens to see things, so your higher self, your soul energy, it will be very open energetically. It will feel very refreshing. It will feel very light. It will also feel very neutral. It'll be very much like there's no stuck or sticking or hard or pushing, if that makes sense to you guys. It'll feel more like endless possibilities, right? It'll be more like I don't have to think inside the box. I don't have to be so rigid, right? So really feel into whatever area in your life right now, whether it's your health, your healing, whether it's your relationships, whether it's your finances, whatever it is, just really use this big window of opportunity to feel in and feel around energetically, and then be like, what's the workaround for this? How do I like get into that like no resistance flow around that? And when you kind of like use the vibrational frequencies with that, you feel around it for yourself. Like it's like, if you couldn't see or you couldn't hear and you just had your internal senses, your spidey senses to feel around the experience, use those right now because they're highlighted with this energy, right? This big energy today that's highlighting your intuitiveness, your psychic abilities, right? Your connection to source, to God, to creator. Remember, that part of you, that aspect of you is being highlighted today. So have some fun feeling around that, feeling around all of the little areas in your life that maybe are a bit sticky or stuck. And then just feel like, what's the workaround there? What's the workaround? Sending you guys huge, huge blessings.